June 15th, 2009. This is Diehard Gamer Radio.
Show 69.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go!
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
I said we have an ident.
He said
Let's go with it.
69.
The maximum.
Intro.
I'm not going to do the intro like that.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to Diehard Gamer Radio. I am Murdock, and we have a full cast of characters here for show number 69, our Maximum Risky podcast, whatever the hell that means.
Not like the cut rates type of characters that we
Everybody
usually
has a show
have.
for this one.
Yeah.
Welcome to the theater.
So let me do the introductions. I'll do it in reverse temporal order or reverse tachyon order.
That'd be inverse tachyon.
Okay.
You mean sour the milk?
I have John.
That would be your glorified phone stand.
I have Steve. I have Brian. I have Pastey Mike. I have Roger, who has an anime store at gimmeanime.com.
You
And
may
this-
have them, but you don't know what to do with them.
Well-known purveyor of Japanese perversion. This is why we invited him.
Yes. This also is Roger's third appearance. And we welcome back Kiken for his second appearance. His
Yeah,
first.
currently improving my chances for ear cancer.
Somebody's got to do it.
Well, this podcast will help in that. So anything we want to share before we actually start on the news?
Diehard Gamer Radio, giving to science where it can.
I'm just finding it funny the fact that most podcasts, when they get the big rollout for people, it's, episode 50, episode 100. What's it for this one? 69.
And it's a complete sausage fest.
You got to give and take.
It's your podcast. Shouldn't
It
you
is a
have
video
invited-
game podcast.
Invited some girls.
Yeah.
They were previously engaged as booth babes at E3, and so they're unavailable.
Oh, that must be it.
And some of them had porno jobs afterwards, so
Or during.
Yeah.
depends on how much they were paid.
So-
Giggity,
so
giggity, giggity.
So speaking about E3, our first thing is we want to spend not more than 10 minutes talking about E3. So basically, was there anything that interested us
No.
other than the Bayonetta cosplay?
Looking back, we really should have done the nude expo for this show.
Yeah,
'Cause that would have been far more
I don't want to see you in the nude.
No, the Vegas Adult Entertainment Expo.
AVN,
Oh.
yeah.
AVN, yeah, that would have been far.
The LA Adult Expo was actually last week.
Oh,
So,
I didn't know about that one.
yeah.
I only heard of AVN. Okay.
Is any of this?
I'm going to say that I think definitely the best thing to come out of E3 this year was the distracted translator mem on NeoGaf.
I didn't hear
Did
about
any of
that.
you see that thread?
No.
You go and look for E3 animated GIFs or whatever thread. There's like 8 pages.
Jeez.
I didn't even see that.
Okay.
Apparently we need to hit up NeoGaf more often.
Yeah, you do.
I was excited to see the new Sony PSP and just how expensive they thought they could make it for us.
$249.
Yeah, but that had already been leaked like a week before, though. I mean, everybody already, even all of the rumored screenshots of the thing were pretty much accurate to what it ended up looking like.
Yeah,
That
but
was the funny
we were
part.
shooting more for $300, so we were giving a little break there.
It's identical marketing to the
You're
PS3.
paying $250, you're paying more than the current unit for a smaller screen, no UND drive. What else did they? And like everything else is smaller on it. So
And
why
right
does
now
it
you can
cost,
actually go
like,
buy
$80
an
more?
and right now you can actually go buy an older PSP and a PS2 for the same price as this. So
Well, it sounds like Sony to me. I mean,
Yeah. And no OLED screen. So are you kind of saddened about that, John?
It's a bummer. It would have been nice to see. You compare this to like last year's E3 though, and we're totally coming out ahead, even with all the leaks.
Yeah.
If there had been an OLED like upgrade to that, it would have cost $800 anyway. So really, neither here nor there.
It's still cool, though. That's the whole point.
Yeah, cool has a price,
Well,
and it was not the
Does
consumers.
the score button work better this time?
I think it's getting better. It was obviously they brought back a few booth babes. There was more companies were there, bigger displays. They announced a few more things too. The PS3's picking up steam finally, so it's got games coming out. And
I will say there were definitely some games that I wanted to, I definitely want to get my hands on because of some of the stuff that I saw at E3 finally.
Yeah, there was actual exciting news beyond just, yes, we are still working on those things you want.
So I think that's it for the E3 stuff. I didn't want to spend more than 10 minutes on this. So
congratulations, you
Yeah,
succeeded at
we-
8.5 minutes.
we succeeded.
They pretty much blow through it. I mean, it's what jokes about Natal, how you can abuse Milo, and that's pretty much like where it stops.
And on to the sex news.
Pretty much. See that transition?
Speaking of booth babes,
Wait, what?
Huh?
What?
Now, is it Natal or Natal?
depends
I
on.
prefer
Natal.
Natal. Natal sounds nasty.
Yeah, they actually had a pronunciation guide.
That's,
I think Natal was that one Bond girl.
It's like Natal.
Wasn't it the? Isn't that a small country in the Himalayas, Natal?
That's Nep-
no.
You're thinking Indian. That's Nepal.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So I'm. What is
Do
it? Is it
better.
like- it's like a new controller, or it makes.
It allows you to be a pedophile without leaving your home.
It's basically a motion like the Wii is, but without the controller in your hand. It's a
It's
motion
it's like
sensing
iToy,
thing in
but
front of you.
not sucking. Hopefully,
It's like the Aura Interactor, but new.
So it's it's a bit like if we had the Power Glove, but without the glove.
Oh yeah, like
No,
So it's a bit like the Power Glove without the glove.
What
No,
was
that
like,
was the Wii.
IR octagon thing.
That was
That was the.
The activator.
yeah, that was the Aura
Activator. Yeah, what a piece of
So it is actually
vaporware that
not
thing
new.
was.
We've seen this before, but it sucked.
We've seen the promise of this before.
Oh, okay.
The technology does keep getting better, so maybe it'll work this time.
This one may actually deliver the gorilla arms.
What's
All right.
wrong? What's wrong with the controller?
It's
It doesn't make as much money as Waggle.
Oh, I apologize.
it's not interactive enough.
it.
It's
you
like
get
the
better-
Power Glove without the glove.
Well, you get better YouTube videos of people falling into things and
you
crashing
don't need to
into
buy
things and-
Natal to watch uncoordinated white people.
Yes, but this will cause more of them.
Yeah, just what YouTube needs.
But there's an inexhaustible supply now.
We need more connections to Rickroll people.
Okay.
Maybe this is an attempt to capture that as energy.
I don't know what you mean about inexhaustible, dude. I ran out of internet last week.
Oh, Jesus.
You used up all the bits.
Tourette's guy will do that to you.
Why did you run out of bits?
Oh, speaking of
Saw 'em all.
news,
Done.
Oh,
Need more.
okay.
speaking of news on the side, I saw yesterday that Olivia Munn's going to be in Playboy soon.
She's not going to get naked, so
She's
Yeah.
going to get close.
She's just writing an article.
Yeah, there you go.
In
Yeah.
her bikini in a pool.
Articles, yeah.
Yes.
It's not close enough.
all right. So on to the smut news, which is why we're all here.
Schmuck.
Yes.
No, I'm here because somebody's got to run this shit.
How's that working for you?
It's not.
Not so great.
I don't know, the little equalizer thing here is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the DOS blinking lights are pretty awesome on this interface.
You got to pay for your audio equipment somehow. Oh, wait.
Oh, I'm paying for it.
All right. So our first bit of smut news is the third witch touching game is in the works, which would interest Mike.
No,
No.
I'm astounded that there's even one witch touching game.
What was it, the April Fool's joke?
Oh, this was it Star Radish?
Was that the vegetable touching game?
No, there's like
corn
a
is pretty
shmup.
sick.
There's like a shmup in the game.
Oh,
called-
really?
Yeah, Star Radish.
Now, this is the same witch touching game that's developed by Playmore, right?
It is the
SNK
same
Playmore?
witch touching game. The third one.
And they put a shmup in it, you're saying?
Yes.
Huh.
Which immediately.
They put the shmup up as a April Fool's joke, but then they ended up actually throwing it into the game.
Joke's on who now,
No.
huh?
I was gonna say it's
Jokes on
Murdock.
Brian and Murdock because they have to buy it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Damn
it.
Yeah.
Naughty game with a shmup.
Now I'm gonna have to touch all these witches just to shoot things.
Wait
I
a
think
minute.
it pretty much proves how much effort it takes to make a shmup nowadays.
yeah,
We just kind of rolled one into our smut game.
Oh man.
All right.
And just remember, it's not child pornography if you put a sticker on it saying they're 18.
Exactly. They're elves,
That's
so
just
they're like
Cradle
400
Robin.
years old.
They're just underdeveloped college students.
Witch
They go to cram school to get bigger breasts.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I just thought they were held back in like third grade for a really long time.
Well, in Bible Black, everyone has like 46 double Ds. It's unbelievable. I was like, I didn't think they were built like this in the Far East. And now witch touching apparently.
Look at the eyes, dude. Figure it out.
All right. So
They get eye implants too?
Yes.
They get well, they get like plastic surgery to make their eyes rounder, I guess.
You okay?
all right.
It's funny. I'm never looking at the eyes.
Well, neither am I, but apparently.
Yeah. So next up, a hypnotism class, which is a name of a game, lets players hypnotize schoolgirls, so you can, hypnotize them to do handstands, and then you can see their panties without having to bend down.
Doing it wrong.
Why don't you just put a mirror on your boot? What's the matter with that?
Well, if I'm going to go through all that effort to hypnotize a woman,
I'm not having her do a hand.
You ever tried to do that in a Japanese subway? There's no room to even see your feet, let alone see the mirror that you put there.
Really? It doesn't
Well,
work really
yeah,
well?
but that's why you
crammed
go
in
and
there
grope.
like this, so that would just be a mute point.
That's why
or
they
a moot
grope
point.
instead of like
Well,
putting
yeah.
cameras down there and stuff.
Tell us about your molestation technique, Roger.
What is you have molestation techniques?
Well, he was saying they was doing it wrong, and if
Oh,
if
that's
you're gonna
right, yeah,
if you're gonna hypnotize somebody,
Can you
then
get
kinda,
belts
you know,
like
you wanna-
in karate for that? Can you go up in rank?
Well, there's a story about a 3-star red general, but yeah, it's an old college thing.
What?
taking the microphone away from Brian now.
No, that's getting your Red Wings. It's not-
Red Wings. Yeah, but you can go up to like general rank after.
Would you guys?
Yeah, okay.
Would you guys
Sorry.
behave? We're about to lose our only listener.
Well, you know, you can only talk so much in the hacky circle.
What are you talking? Our only listener is on the phone.
Kiken, help me out here.
I can barely hear what the fuck's going on.
So we have effectively lost our only listener.
Pretty much.
No, he'll have to listen to the podcast to figure out what the fuck we were saying.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's what I figure. I'll go back and listen to it and then be like, oh, this is fucking hilarious.
No, probably not. He'll be like,
I was gonna say-
in heaven.
It's the podcast Mad Lib. Like you input a bunch of stuff and then you see what comes out at the end.
So I don't know. I figure this whole hypnotism game, though, is really just how they're cutting their budget for the dating sim. So now they don't have to draw 4 pictures of the girls with their 4 different expressions. Now they just need a pair of legs and panties. They're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can buy that.
So next up,
They're counting on it.
so next up, we have a strategy RPG called Queen's Blade. Basically, when you beat up on these women, they lose their clothes, and they have well-endowed females in it, and I guess lots of white liquid that kind of looks like milk, but it's not quite milk.
That's pretty bizarre.
Well, this is Japan. What do you want?
Isn't that
Big-breasted-
coming from the cowgirls, though? So it may actually be milk.
I didn't know that there were cowgirls in the game.
Neither
I'm
did
pretty sure that
they.
was the Kotaku screenshot. There's
Okay.
like all the monsters are actually just women in costume.
I missed that.
So they're like.
Well,
furry
some women
girls, and
can be
you're-
monsters, so they're not far from
It's
it.
like a throwback to the old, not Yeah, Dragon Quest. Yeah, sure, one of those. No, the Dragon Slayer series, wasn't it?
Dragons.
There was a whole line of games exactly like that for the PC Engine Super CD. All these RPGs where it's basically like scantily clad women disguised as monsters.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I don't remember the name though. I think Dragons.
It sounds exactly like a throwback to that.
Hmm.
I was going to say that sounds like there was. I mean, this wouldn't be the first time that a hentai video was based off of a hentai video game, but that sounds
I think there's an anime for this too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That sounds pretty familiar.
Well, let's move on because I'm sure that this is real interesting about a game that we know nothing about.
Damn, once again, failing to provide information. Go us.
Why did you even put that on the thing?
That's what the internet is for.
Yeah.
We're going to have people looking this up now. Hey,
You're doing
what
it
are they
wrong.
talking about?
Yeah.
Sakura Taisen comes out to the U.S., which would interest.
I don't even
Pick a
know
name
what
out of a
that
hat,
is.
quick.
I'm gonna buy it.
George
You are?
Robert.
Even though it's supposedly the worst one, it's part 5, which everybody was bitching about. Is the only reason why they're probably bringing it over is because it has like the largest American cast.
So it has a cast of one. I
Pretty much.
okay.
But I don't. Everybody's been bitching about. They're like, why didn't they bring over 1 or bring over 2? They decided to go for 5. I guess we'll wait and see how it ends up. It's coming out in November, I believe.
Probably because it has the newest graphics and it looks the best overall. Maybe.
Well,
Probably
they weren't gonna put it out back when
When the
it
Dreamcast
came out
was
on,
out.
on the Sega Saturn because
Yeah,
nobody
they'd have
was
to go back
buying
and
the
actually
Saturn in
revamp
America.
the old graphics for one of
Well,
the
they
older
can.
games.
They could probably do a direct port from the Dreamcast. I don't see why they couldn't. I mean, there's really not that much to up. I mean, we're talking 2D graphics.
So is this a
How will
porn
it
game?
look on a?
Released on the PS2 as well. So
For those
Huh.
of us who don't know what this game is, perhaps you could
3 and 4
enlighten
were released
us.
on the PS2.
Oh, Mike wants to know what Sakura
Yeah,
Taisen
what-
is
what
about,
what
and
is it a porn game? Is that
no,
what
it's not a
It's
porn
not a
game.
porn game.
No, it's basically it's a dating sim / strategy RPG, kind of like Shining Force.
Huh.
You're maneuvering your forces to get closer to her forces.
No,
wait.
no, no.
And like
No, you
Light
have to-
Works bludgeon her hobgoblins and then
Hobgoblins?
hobgoblins. Why don't you clean the
Are
wax
there
out of your
robots and a
ears?
cute sidekick?
There is a cute sidekick in the robot.
The girl's pilot.
Yeah, there's Maxet.
Yeah, the thing is, you're like the only male member of an all-female group. You have to keep your female members happy
Oh Christ!
so that they will fight better.
Which means you're pretty much going to be exhausted the whole damn game.
Yes, exactly.
What?
Don't ask. It's Japan.
Yeah.
That should be their new slogan for the country.
Why
Don't ask, it's Japan.
That would be good. So next up, Luna Online promises dates, and I didn't write
You
that
put
right.
wondering
gates.
gates.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Promises,
Dates with gamer girls.
yes, dates with gamer
Is
girls.
that kind of hard to do in real life?
Well, no, you normally pay for it, and I think they're called the Suicide Girls.
Are they gamer girls? I thought they were just had tats and.
No, some of them are heavy
Steve is
gamers.
dying. Steve's dying.
Steve, did you die?
So this game basically is saying that it has some sort of macro system for hot, steamy encounters online. Is that what it's saying?
Possibly.
That's what your footnote says.
Oh,
Macros.
be able to order pizza.
I'm just saying that this game's called Second Life.
Can you put a penis on your head like in Second Life?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Now, that's what the 360 is for, dude, to get your dick hat.
do you like my hat? It's made of dicks.
I have long admired your dick hat, Murdock.
Ooh.
Wait, what? Let's move on. Moving on. Rape games officially banned in Japan, and I don't.
But unofficially selling Underground really well.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Oh, we're
means
just
nothing.
Well, it's funny.
Half of Akihabara is probably going to be shut down then.
Well, no, they just need a little whiteout for all the boxes because they're just changing the titles, not the games.
Yeah, apparently it was just making the mistake of actually putting rape on the box,
Ah.
and it caught somebody's
Surprise
attention.
checks from now on.
Surprise!
Yeah, I should say rape. And, they'll
Rape.
think it's like some sort of Japanese drink or something.
Late.
Yeah, lape.
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 So,
I've always wanted to play a Lape Clay. I wonder what this game's about.
So, is there any indication as to why they did this after all these years?
Basically, they don't want to. They want to avoid government intervention. Is basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, but Rapeplay has been around for like 5 years, so
Yeah.
why? Who's paying attention to it now?
Well, what
and
had
why?
happened was that it ended. It ended up on Amazon's webpage,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't have been. And it wasn't.
It created
meant for-
international focus, which
Yeah,
it didn't before. It used
exactly.
to be just an in-country thing, but once it got on the net, boom, it
then-
went crazy.
Well, it's like anything
Well, this
else.
thing's been on torrent sites for like
Yeah,
5
it's-
years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Well,
but
yeah,
they
I mean,
don't
it's
but
like
that
if
doesn't
anybody
admit
was
it
really
existed.
paying attention.
Yeah, but Ma and Pa watching Fox News doesn't go to
But
torrent sites.
why would that matter to Japan?
Because it got on the news, and Japan doesn't want to be known as the land of rape and tentacles. So
but
they
they
go out
are.
saying,
But
though.
it
"This is the land of
is!
rape and tentacles, and then they just keep making them after saying they don't like them.
Ah.
That was
So
supposed to be a /B secret.
So it's kind of like what Guinea Pig did for movies, Rapeplay did for video games.
I don't want to
Yes.
know what guinea pig
Yes,
is.
but
Yeah.
without Martin Sheen, or who was that?
That was Martin
Martin
Sheen.
Sheen. Yeah, but without Martin Sheen.
Oh, you talking about the animated one? Was it?
No.
No, Guinea Pig is actually it's a marvel of special effects actually, but it's really, 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 really nasty.
Yeah, it's
And-
essentially torture porn before we had
Before there was torture porn, and from like the early '90s.
The first,
No. I mean, it's like a no.
No,
synopsis
that
of
was
the
torture
first-
of a different kind.
No.
A synopsis of the first Guinea Pig movie was a guy kidnaps and tortures to death a young woman, and the second Guinea Pig was a guy kidnaps and tortures to death a young woman. It's
And
like a
and
half-hour
number
long of
3
that.
was a guy finds a mermaid in the sewers and
Yeah.
dissects her.
Well, he brings her up and lets her live in his bathtub, but
Yeah.
she's got some disease.
And so
and he
she's like
uses her-
bleh, oozing around and stuff.
Yeah, she's like oozing pus and stuff, and he uses it to paint pictures.
It's
with.
it's amazing special effects, but Martin Sheen got a hold of one of them and thought it was a real snuff film, and so went
Yeah.
crazy and caused this big stir.
and it was an edited one. And he calls the FBI and stuff.
I thought that was Cannibal
now-
Holocaust.
No.
that was Guinea Pig before Guinea Pig.
Yeah.
Ah,
Mhm.
So yeah, now in Japan it's illegal for anyone to call a film guinea pig.
he's not making that up.
No, I'm not making. I wish I was because it's infantile. It's
So
like,
is that
now
why
they
it's
can't-
called
Now they can't
Hamtaro?
have a guinea pig movie, but they can torture us with The Last Call or whatever that film was. Oh Christ!
So, Kiken, do you have any opinion on guinea pig movies?
You can-
I'm really glad that I didn't hear like half of what you guys were saying, and let's move on from there.
You're
you
prob-
can BitTorrent them.
You're probably happy about that.
He will be when he listens to the podcast.
Yep.
They're great effects, but it's kind of boring movies.
All right.
They're
So, next up, Pastey Mike will review Bible Black on the PC.
Yeah, it's essentially a slideshow game where it's like choose your own adventure, and you do the Bible Black thing. You find the magic book, and you cast magic spells on people, and I got what was there's like apparently like 6 or 7 different endings, and I only got to the one where I was stabbed to death in the halls of my school by someone I had sexually taken advantage of with black magic. So it was kind of.
Black Magic Woman.
Yeah, which it's the exact opposite of the witch touching games. That like every schoolgirl in Japan has 46 double D breasts. It's like I was like I didn't think that was what happened over there, but
It is. You're just not in the right prefecture.
I must be. Yeah. But it's very 90s graphics. It's like I said, just a slideshow. It has a lot in common with regular JRPGs in that it puts up, kind of false choices for you. Like, rape the blonde, rape the redhead, and rape the brunette. Like, well, okay, I picked the blonde first, and then it goes through that scene, and pick the brunette second, and go through that scene. But you can't move on until you've raped all 3 of them anyway. So what difference does it make? Why is it letting me choose?
False dichotomy.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like in the one of the early Final Fantasies where it says, "Are you sure you want to save the king? Yes or no?" And it's like, "No, I don't want to save the king. He's a bastard." So I hit no, and it's like, "No, he's a good king, and you want to save him. Do you want to save the king? Yes or no?" And after about a half dozen times of saying no, I determined that it wasn't going to allow me to refuse to save the king anymore. So it's just kind of
False choice.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but it was worth what I paid for it.
I think the bigger boobs, the 46 double Ds, I think they get bigger the further you go north. So
Oh,
the more
really?
Ainu blood that you have in you, the bigger your boobs are.
Oh, okay.
Eskimomo.
Oh, so like witch touching is southern Japan,
Yeah.
and Bible Black is northern Japan. Okay,
It's rural versus city.
Oh, this game took place in the city.
So
You're
is witch
trying to
touching
make sense
rural
of
then?
it.
I'm going to say yes.
Oh, okay.
So describe 5 minutes of gameplay experience here.
Well, you click on the screen, and it gives you. I was lucky enough to find an English translated version. Otherwise, it would be even less meaningful.
It has
Or
been
even
sold
more-
several times
even
at Gimme
more
Anime.
meaningless. Really, you've sold the PC game?
Yeah,
Oh,
they would have
Plug.
the PC game available with the first DVD.
Oh wow, I was unaware of this. And then
I'm out of stock.
it gives you some text, and you click a couple times to scroll through the text, and then it'll give you an option. Do you want to be late for school and sleep in, or do you want to go to school on time? And then it just kind of branches off from there. Like I say, it's essentially just a choose your own adventure, clickety click kind of game. There's no action to it whatsoever. I mean, Cobra Mission had more action than it did, and that was horrible anyway. I was like, oh, why are they doing this? So yeah, it's
So what you're saying is Sewer Shark was more interactive.
there was more on-screen action to what was that, Night Trap, than there is to Bible Black.
So
There was more Dana Plato. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
There was very little in the way of gameplay. Yes,
No, he was asking Dana Plato. Yeah.
There was very little Dana Plato in Bible Black.
that's true. Yes,
It was definitely a different stroke.
there was even less Dana
Oh,
Plato in Night Trap. Actually,
did you ever play Night Trap, Kiken?
Actually, no. I did play a hell of a lot of Sewer Shark when it first came out, but I never tried Night Trap. None of my friends ever picked up that one.
imagine bending your index finger of your left hand back as far as it'll go until it hurts, and that's kind of what playing Night Trap is like.
Except you
Well,
paid
it
for
was
that.
the same as like any of those FMV games, though. And it was like at any given moment you have to press one of 4 cardinal directions and then press a button. If your timing is right, congratulations, you did something good. If not, you get fucked. That's pretty much it.
Didn't this
Oh,
all,
Dragon's Lair.
didn't this all come from like Dragon's Lair and Space Ace?
Yeah.
Sword,
Actually,
sword.
the Night Trap and Sewer Shark were actually VHS games before they were video games. You actually, what you did is you took and you decided you had to set your counter to 0 at the beginning. The guy who did these ended up licensing them to, the TurboGrafx and all those, and the Sega CD and crap like that. But he made these games. He had this great idea. He thought that you could use the VCR as an entertainment system for interactive games. What you would do is he would start, and you would get to the point where you wanted to make a decision, and you'd look up in the book like a choose your own adventure, and he would forward it to a certain time to make your choice or whatever.
Now, was this set on a counter, or was this set on like an actual? Because I've seen the one VCRs with this
Well,
arbitrary counter.
This was
And then-
really
You're
old.
talking about the what I think it was originally called the Ibis is what it was codenamed, was that the VCR game console.
Yeah.
What it was is that they were just using videotapes as another form of as the actual data stream. That's all it was. It was like, remember on the ColecoVision how they had the digital data packs, which were tape cassettes?
Right.
Games on a tape cassette.
That was the Vectrex, I think.
Well,
Well, it might have been on that, but it was on the ColecoVision had them as well. But it was just that, but on a larger scale.
if I
And
remember,
they could also put data. They could have a data stream and a video stream running simultaneously. So it was still loading like information from the VCR tapes. I mean, if you did something at a certain point, the VCR would then instantly rewind or fast forward to the next point. But the reason why it was impractical is because it's magnetic media and you're stretching the shit out of it every time you play the game.
Well, not only that, I believe that after they tried to do that, they decided, we don't want to make any sort of special equipment for it. So then they tried marketing as just, fast forward to blah, 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 and they found that sucked ass too. And then they decided, hey, look, check it out. We can make, like, CDs and crap.
And that sucked too.
And that sucked as well.
Yeah, but not as much as the VHS.
Well, they did also. It was interesting. I was looking up on Night Trap. They actually did release it on the consoles as well, not just the.
Didn't we do that on Game Turkey? Night
Yeah.
Trap? Yeah.
Yes.
We did,
Yeah.
we? It's just kind of a.
It came out on PC. It came out on Mac. They put them all. They put it out everywhere.
Anywhere they could squeeze money out of it, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Well, okay. So is that it for Bible Black?
Yeah, it's choose your own adventure. But if you're not familiar with Bible Black, it's you find a black magic book. There's other people who want it. They know black magic too, and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of sex and rape and violence.
So it's basically choose your own adventure, except more sticky.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
All right.
It's kind of gross.
So if you want a really difficult way to access your drawn pornography.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Buy the art book. Okay, moving on.
Probably just better to watch the DVD series of it.
Okay. So next up, we have a few topics. And this one I got from Roger, which was, what do you consider to be an adult game? Does sex and nudity equal an adult game?
I like swear words in games.
Well, that's because you're infantile. though.
Can it be an adult game and a casual game? Is interactivity involved?
Is Bible Black a casual game? You don't need any real
That's
knowledge.
true. You could sit your girlfriend down and have her play Bible Black, and she could just play it all the way through.
And then she would leave.
Forever.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the question. Would it work as is on the Wii? I think that's the question you have to ask yourself.
I'd play Bible Black on the
If they
Wii.
could like straight port it to the Wii, then I'd say yeah, casual definitely.
You could do Bible Black on the Wii very easily.
Well, yeah.
That's
You can do
casual
anything on the
gaming.
Wii very easily.
Well,
Well,
all you have
except
to do
for
is all you have to
playing,
do
what
is
was it,
take Bible Black and put it on a browser.
Yeah, it could be.
It could
easily
run in Firefox.
Probably already been done.
Yeah.
You do anything easily on the Wii except for full versions of games that are exclusives for the 360 and PS3.
All right, that's enough of that.
Yeah, well, tell us what you mean when you say adult game. I mean, do you mean like games made for adults then? Because, I mean, like, mature-rated games are probably the least mature games they make.
Well,
That's true,
that's where the
Unfortunately,
dichotomy
they would
comes
put, like,
in.
IMM, that's like too many letters on the front, for immature. But
Yeah, they don't. I mean, you see the same thing in movies. Some of the most infantile movies.
That's not the word of
sophomore.
the day, people. That's not the word of the day.
Infantile?
Just used it once.
Okay.
Quick,
someone get
We
a
have
thesaurus.
word quota now? When that happened?
Get a thesaurus.
We have too many people.
Yeah.
Oh, our word quota. The word quota is always there, but now we've got 3 other people, so we hit it.
Yeah, you can't use that word.
All right.
What were you saying?
But
You were saying.
you get some
Dumbass.
yeah, basically movies and whatnot, and they're rated R or whatever, but they're obviously not mature. So obviously, I mean,
For example?
yeah. What do you mean?
For example.
For
what-
example.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, would you consider? I don't know. Do you remember the Guy game for
Yeah.
the Xbox? Or actually, I think it did come out on the PS2 as well. I mean, I don't know if I'd consider that a mature adult game, but it definitely would get that rating because of the boobies.
Underage
Didn't they have
boobies.
an AO version of that too, or didn't they have to put an AO sticker on that one at one point?
I don't know. I thought you can't put AO games on the consoles. They won't let you.
Well, yeah, but it's happened by accident. At least for
Well,
For the
for
GTA when they
for
had that
GTA,
fiasco.
but that was different.
They just was it just that they banned the guy game and they never actually like?
Well, they
did
never
other
actually
stickers?
banned the guy game.
Well, they did.
I mean, you can.
Well, they did when it was ruled child porn.
Well, yeah, because
that's now I remember this game. One
So
of the
now it
girls
can only
was
be sold in
17.
Japan.
yeah, one of the girls was 17.
Wouldn't you check IDs a little more carefully?
You've also got to look at what country's doing it too, because I seem to remember when I think it was Gears of War came out
Steve
in
remembers
Japan,
that
they
game.
tried to put an AO rating on it because it was so bloody.
I think
they couldn't sell it.
It's the equivalent of the CERO, I believe, the Z rating,
Yeah.
Are you kidding
which is
me?
like the kiss. That's like the kiss of death in Japan. It's like, well, we don't want the Z rating. Shit, we won't sell anything.
They were
They've
selling
had
it in
some
back
Z-rated
rooms.
games now that have sold decently, like
Yeah.
Gears.
Yeah, because they
Gears
started
of
selling it out of a
War-
back room, and after people got to try it and demoed, and 360 came and demoed it on site, people started buying the game. They realized how good it was.
Isn't all of Japan pretty much a back room?
Everywhere you look. Like
You
I
get to
would've
the
thought it'd have
airport
to
and
be
you
a-
show them your ID and they pull a curtain aside for you. You walk into the country.
I would have thought I have to be in a back room to buy this, sir.
Well, at,
Where
at
you
one
are,
point,
The
young
whole
man.
country's a back room.
well, also at one point, would that become, because there's kind of that ban on AO games. At what point is that going to change when, we're looking at our generation, which has been playing video games since, the Atari 2600 or the original Nintendo.
The
And
Atari
now we're-
2600 newbie.
Okay, there was the Pong home console game that my parents had.
I was playing Space War at MIT.
It's going to change when our generation takes over the reins of having to rate the games and rate the systems and rate everything. We're still dealing with our parents' generation monitoring all this shit, so they're still monitoring it the way they always have and the
My
way they
parents
know
don't
how.
monitor anything.
Just
Well,
like
it's
how
just
we
that
totally have
generation is, though.
X-rated movies in theaters all the time now.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
they're
there
called
is.
NC-17 movies now.
There's prudes in our generation too, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was
Those are
gonna
the folks that
say,
are
I
going
can-
to migrate to that
Movies
job.
are more mainstream. Movies have been around a lot longer, so they've had more time to maneuver, and they're
Well-
a bigger industry overall. But games are finally coming of, so it's going to be the next thing. There's always that thing in each generation that's bad.
I'm just saying your argument doesn't work because movies hit R and stopped. They keep pushing the limits of R, but they haven't gone past that in a mainstream
no-
way. I don't think video games are going to go past that into doing, what we would think like hardcore sex. They're still going to go up
Well,
to what
I
they
don't
can
ex-
do at the limits of M and keep pushing it a little bit.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
the
there's
thing
going
is
to be
though,
some that push it like.
Yeah, AO is probably going to be limited to like online download only from basically like pay sites and what have you. I don't see any of that stuff ever being available brick and mortar.
well, I'm thinking also. I'm not thinking just in the case of PC games. I'm thinking also in consoles, since that is getting to be more and more what people are using.
Well, consoles
Well-
are also starting to bridge that gap to the PC.
Well,
and
yeah.
It's the video games
Well,
are
what-
pushing
what-
that technology so far that it may have the best chance of getting more adult-oriented things because
will
it's
they be
giving you
able
the
to-
ability to do so where like movies couldn't do so. Things before that couldn't really bridge that gap.
Yeah, but the thing is that movies in the early 70s were way more explicit than they are now. They just didn't have a rating system in place that would judge them. That didn't come until later. And so once you started having things where you started actually to have that sort of emerging quote unquote erotica medium in the early 70s in the US, when they started saying, okay, you know what, this is porn, and we're not going to let you do this in the movie theater. Well, I mean, and that's the thing is that it's not a matter of it's always been this way, and then there's a chance for it to not be that way. It was that way, and now it's not. And the reason it's not is because people that are only about 5-10 years older than us decided that that's how it is. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Our generation may change that. We may become more and more open.
Well,
And I think the argument here is more about distribution medium too. It wasn't until we got VHS and DVD that porn really took off. And with the consoles, as long as the companies control the distribution mechanism, there's not going to be that niche market. They simply won't allow it to exist. The PC still can because, well, nobody's saying what you can load on your PC yet.
Yet.
But games still have the best chance of getting that, pushing
Well,
it farther than anything before.
Well, they are pushing it a little farther. I mean, there has been at least a small amount of games that have had nudity and at least sexual themes in them. But I'm wondering, will we see it? Maybe not in. Will it get to be popular enough that, okay, maybe it's not. These games aren't going to show up in Walmart, but will they be available through video game stores, or will they be available, say, through Xbox Live?
Probably not. They'll probably be something you have to buy online only, or you can only get as a download, because nobody else wants to take that kind of bad publicity for selling something like that may be construed as still not quite legal.
No one wants to be on the receiving end of, won't somebody please think of the children?
I don't know. Frickin' EB, we used to sell that.
Well,
I never checked any IDs. Fuck them. I never checked a single ID when I was working there.
I think it's interesting that you're saying that you think games are pushing harder, though, because I don't think we've had a game that has, even for violence, gotten anywhere near what we've seen in torture porn movies.
No, I would have to agree.
Well,
you haven't seen some of that
I don't know.
garbage
Gears of
coming
War
out
3,
of
or
Germany.
not Gears of War, but
Jesus
God of War
H.
3 is getting close there.
Well, if you look at, well, I was going to say, look at some of the stuff that comes out of Japan. Yeah, not in America though.
We're too prude as a country for sure. But yeah, like you're saying with things with Germany and porn and torture.
Are you sure even with Japan what it's done for gaming? I mean, they have things that are, really distasteful subject matter in terms of rape and everything, but they're also doing it in really cartoonish ways.
Yeah, you don't end up.
I mean,
They're
it's,
like
it's not where you're,
justifying
like,
it with
looking at that and
comedy
going,
or
oh my God, I can't bear to keep my eyes open to see what they're doing to that person.
But I can't look away either because it's like such a.
I don't know
It's
about
like a
that.
foreign
I've
train
seen
wreck.
some of the Goro stuff.
Hey,
Just,
some of the Garo stuff, but that's almost never like actually.
And did you watch Audition?
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I did.
That was a crazy movie for a bachelor. I was like, I could really put myself in this man's place all too easily.
The video game industry prefers to torture the people who buy the games.
Yeah. Well, that's in Japan. If you've played any JRPG on the Xbox 360,
There's a lot of shitty games. They prefer to have the people paying them money tortured.
It's like getting a meat mallet and hammering your own feet flat with it, and then paying someone $50 for the privilege.
Yeah, I'll give you that Japan is worse. I'm just saying Japanese movies are still worse than their games are.
By far.
They've had more. They've had more years
far.
of practice. That's for sure.
yeah.
All right.
Where will games be in 20 years?
Japanese movies are so bad.
Games in 20 years, they'll just be crystals you put up your ass. That's all.
Speaking of,
Subject two.
Whose subject is this?
Where did that even come
Yeah, I think Murdock just wanted to get his Chun-Li fixation out.
No.
I would have thought.
Only
I would
time
have
you'll
pegged
ever
you as a
justify it.
Okay, I added
Murdoch.
this.
I would have pegged you as a Tifa man.
No, that's the rest of the internet.
No, I.
There's so much
Oh.
porn.
Oh Jesus.
Okay, I added this for humor value, and it's obviously paying off in spades.
It says, "Have you ever fapped to a game character? Will anyone even admit that?"
As all eyes turn to
Dead
Murdoch.
silence.
What now?
Said dead silence.
Yep.
Yep.
Crickets.
So, Roger. No.
What? No.
Yes.
Anything you want to tell us?
How many Chun-Li figurines do you own?
Well, I only own maybe 2 or 3. Not as many Kasumi figures, but there's that one frame of Chun. I think I've said too much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It's gonna.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Is there moving on? Is there anything else?
There's
Well,
like,
unless anyone wants to admit that.
No, I'm like, oh, we do have more stuff.
Keegan, help me out here.
I like the girl from Groove on
Now
Fight.
you're on your own.
Yeah, I just gotta say you're on your own, man. Good luck with that trip.
I mean, for one, I think you might have to start coming up with something that was a female character. I mean, there's been some pixelated boobies out there, but actually having an interesting female character, video games don't do a good job.
No.
Nah.
Not really.
All right. So next up, I guess we have the top 5, 10 sex game controversy thing for Magic Service.
Why was Night Trap even a controversy? That game was as fun as a broken elbow. It didn't
Okay,
show anything.
let me,
Ring was
I-
getting laid.
Though it was just what that fucktard's name?
Lieberman.
Jack Thompson.
Jack Thompson. Yeah, it was just his spearhead game. It was just one of those
Yeah.
that he jumped on. He had absolutely no idea what the game was about, but he just took like one or two scenes out of context from the game and then said, "Here, look at what this game's doing."
Well, at least according to the Wikipedia article, this was what Joe Lieberman was part of. And let's see here. During Night Trap was cited as shameful, ultra-violent, sick, and disgusting, encouraging an effort to trap women and kill them.
Hey, we don't encourage research here, by the way. This is
And-
why you're not a regular on the podcast.
Research,
Yeah.
No, we encourage research after the fact. The episode has to air first.
That's how we get listeners to chime
As-
in. They actually correct us.
As actually having played Night Trap, it would have been fun if it had actually adhered at all to that description.
Joe
It was-
Lieberman was a
oh
spearhead
my
because
God.
he was the highest person of importance at the time that could actually push a point and have people listen to him.
Sounds
And
like
people
something
did.
Joe
They
Biden
blatantly
would
listened
say.
to him.
Well, that
and
was
thought
one,
it was
wasn't
horrible.
Night Trap one of the games that really just started the whole ESRB thing?
Yeah, basically it and Mortal
Well,
Kombat.
It was majorly
Yeah.
the two home ports of Mortal Kombat. The SNES version, which Nintendo edited so that all the characters looked like they were sweating profusely, and then you had the Genesis version where there was blood.
Yeah.
Well, you had that.
It was rendered with like two shades of red, but it was still blood.
And then right after that, you saw the ads come out where Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Well, yeah.
the blood green?
No, there was no blood
in
yet.
the Japanese one, it was.
Well,
No, it was green, but if you put in a code, you could turn it red.
oh,
yeah.
that was the American one.
well,
I
no,
thought
the American one
Japanese
did.
had a
The
green
American,
blood.
the American Mortal Kombat didn't have any blood. You had to actually enter a code to get to turn the blood on,
Oh, okay, okay.
which is ABACABB.
I think I'm thinking of like a Neo Geo game that
Abacab?
had green blood.
Are you
There's-
kidding me?
American Mortal
Oh.
Kombat home version that had green blood.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because I thought there was green blood in the arcade version
Hey,
too.
look, we removed the blood. That one, it was the white. It looked like sweat.
Yeah, in the Nintendo, it was sweat blood. It
Yeah,
was sweat.
that sounds about right for Nintendo too.
It was like
I don't remember
wow,
ever
that's
playing it on the
unbelievable.
Nintendo. I think because I had it on the Genesis first, and then we had it on the Super Nintendo afterwards.
Well, yeah, when Nintendo's like, "Wow, we're losing a lot of money."
Yeah, because we're sweating
Now they
too
have
much.
Mad World. What's the blood code for Mad World, Murdock?
There is none.
Funny how
Is
that
there a
works.
code to turn it off? Because that would be funny.
So your eyes don't rot out while you're playing it.
No, that's just a cheap workaround for the Wii's bad graphics process.
Well, that would kind of totally kill the name of the game.
Mad World. It would
Not
be
playing
kind
it,
of.
watching it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Roger, where are you going with this?
Going with which?
It's your topic,
We're,
dude.
we're done with
Oh.
witches.
Okay.
Well,
so,
okay.
okay. We spoke about Night Trap.
So witch touching.
Well, then there was. Well, of course, there was Mass Effect.
See, I would.
Which has no nudity in it whatsoever.
Alien
Oh,
women kissing
well,
women.
Wasn't that Fox News that got excited about it?
Well, it was first. There was a blogger that got in on it, and it was the one that was saying things like, you'll be able to virtually sodomize any character in the game, which, with
This was the chick who never actually.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
this
she
was a guy
plugging.
first.
There was a woman that was on too after that. She was
After
plugging her
that.
book,
after
and
that.
she admitted after everybody and their mother got on to Amazon's website of her and berated her on her own book title.
Yeah.
She
And I have
admitted that she didn't know anything about the game, but learned everything she knew with a little 1-minute clip from some guy that told her as she was walking on stage.
Yeah,
And the
basically.
guy himself had only spent 5 minutes in the game, so.
Yeah.
I have to admit, after hearing those descriptions, man, was I disappointed.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I missed that part. Virtually sodomizing any. I wonder if you like the alien characters. Like Rex. If you could.
You know what the best part, the best thing that come out of that whole controversy was the fact that I don't know. I think it was the TV show that she was on. Not only did she apologize to the community in general for her, backwards knowledge of it, but I think the TV show apologized and said the gaming community is not one to be fooled with because they saw the uproar and how many people turned on him and blogged on him and came in and put bad reviews and bad. You know, they just said their piece. You know, came and said their 2 cents. So
I think this is a big thing where what you were talking about with as people get older, this issue is just going to disappear. Because, like we got the statistics now that under 18, 98% of people have played video games. So, give it another 20 years and everybody will have played video games.
and our generation will start being the ones in power that are more easily swayed. They're more open-minded, rather. I'll say.
Well, they're
at
more
least they won't
used
be
to.
totally ignorant.
Exactly,
About 3
yeah.
decades worth of actual solid gaming at the moment. I mean, we'd say the 80s, the 90s, and then the current decade. So I mean, if you give it, I'd say 2 more decades.
Yeah, 20 years, I would say,
At
yeah.
that point,
Well,
I mean, it's already such a pervasive part of society,
Oh yeah.
and it's really happened within the past 15 years that it's really taken off.
And
Well-
technology is moving so fast that it's moving faster and faster. There's more coming out quicker, and there's more things readily available to us, and more things that are opening our minds, and it's just a matter of time. But it's
Well, I don't-
compounding. It's happening faster too.
Well, it will to a certain extent because
Especially
we're
if you drop
used to the
acid while
video
playing
games.
video
The problem
games.
is that when the next thing comes out, and I'm not sure what that would be, you might see the backlash against
Ass
that
crystals.
technology.
Yeah.
Ass crystals.
Ass crystals.
It all started
The
with
Ass
Buck Rogers.
Crystals 360.
You
Great.
know, I'd prefer to plug them into my brain. I don't know why I would.
But
give
it gets
them
rid of
my
all the resale value for the game.
Yeah,
Well,
shut up,
plug
Johnny
me in.
Mnemonic.
Oh, pardon me.
All
I
right, so
apologize.
let's move quickly through these last ones.
What the fuck
there's-
is hot coffee?
That's Grand Theft Auto. Where have
The
you
mod, the hot coffee
Oh, for
mod.
Christ's
Well, it was
sakes.
well, that was the whole thing. It's like you had to actually go looking for it until you could to find it.
It didn't take much to get online and find a video clip of it.
Well, yeah. Well, no, it was also
Wasn't
it was
everything
on the
blocked
PC
out
version, but
anyway?
apparently Action Replay, if you use that, you could
Unlock it on a console.
unlock it on a console. That's why I never got rid of my original copy of San Andreas because
Jeez.
if you get the one you could turn in for, it would have that locked out.
Or you
Yeah.
could put the same amount of effort into typing in blowjob on Google
Yeah.
and get better results.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But they weren't half as pixelated.
Or going out and meeting a girl, gasp. Oh.
No, wait. This is a video game podcast.
I apologize, gentlemen. I wasn't
Gentlemen?
thinking.
I decline.
I apologized.
If anyone was offended, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
I won't give up my dog checkers. There's one gift I won't give.
Oh man. All right, Leisure Suit Larry. Yes, I played that in high school.
I played.
I
Enjoyed
played
it
that
quite a bit.
Hey, Leisure Suit Larry was great in education because it taught you safe sex. If you didn't put the condom on with the first chick that you slept with, you got a horrible disease and died.
I think the best thing that Leisure Suit
Lesson
Larry had
learned.
to teach is when you had to get through the copy protection that asked you
Yeah.
like 70s and 80s trivia questions.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember getting stuck at points in that game when I was in about 10th or 11th grade. And where did I go? I went to EB because they had the guidebook up there, and I just stop in, take a break, read through the book. Oh yeah, crap! I should have figured that one out. Go back and play the game some more.
Those games are such a waste.
The funny thing was that was another one. That was one of those games that word of mouth actually was better advertising for it because they didn't really advertise the game when they brought it out, but people started hearing about it. And it's like, okay, I think we've got it in our back room somewhere, and they pick it up.
Then you part the curtain.
Yeah,
On the gameplay front there for that one, that game actually advanced slightly on the interface over Police Quest. Because in the Leisure Suit Larry version, when you had to go upstairs in the back of the stairwells on the back of a building, you could just walk up to it and push right, and it would start going up there. I actually got stuck in Police Quest 1 in the same sort of
yes.
interface because you had to use the keypad and use the 9 key, the upper diagonal key, to get up. And my computer didn't have one of those upper diagonal keys. And so they actually learned from it. So Leisure Suit Larry is an evolution of Sierra Online Gaming.
Huh.
Well, then Leisure Suit Larry pulled off the great adventure gaming trick, much like the old Monkey Island games, of actually being funny.
yeah.
And there aren't a lot of games that do that. And
Except for the new Leisure Suit Larry games, apparently are not.
Well, they're
very
funny, but
at
not in
all.
a good way.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Well, I heard this.
It's
this
funny like
latest
Trio
one,
the Punch is funny.
Yeah.
This latest,
It's funny like Toilet Kids is funny.
that box office one got terrible reviews, just because of the gameplay glitches that were in it.
It's as funny as falling down some stairs.
And there was no nudity in that one. There was nudity in the college game, but there's none in this one.
Who was
Yeah.
the? Anybody remember who was the head programmer on Leisure Suit Larry?
It's Al Lowe or something like that.
Probably
Al
a pseudonym.
Lou or,
Huh.
but he wasn't
Huh.
part of the original game. I mean, he wasn't part of these new games,
Right.
except for they paid him to do some voice acting, and
Huh.
that was in the latest one, and
They
that
could
was
have
it.
paid him to do some developing.
So an actual game,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why
'Cause
would
I
we
think
do that, Steve? He's developed successful games in the past. He's obviously a fuddy-duddy who doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
A fuddy duddy.
there counting his millions with Ken and Roberta.
Yeah. Roberta Williams, another has-been.
Gus Van Sant counting his money in the background there.
Gus Van Sant.
Well, here's the pile of money I got from Phantasmagoria 2.
Like Michael
That had a
Bay.
rape scene in it. That was controversial.
Yes, it was
It
actually.
was controversial. Well, you had to get through the first 6 discs to get to it.
Yeah.
It had 9.
Well, like I said, the
playing
first
Leisure
6.
Suit Larry and going through 6 discs, so
Yeah.
there was
Well,
nothing
welcome
unheard
to
of back in those
pre-DVD
days.
games.
That was
Yeah.
prior. That was just pre to you being able to trade in your little 3.5 inch for the 5 1/4 later on down the road.
Well, yeah, but Phantasmagoria was 9 CDs, and it was about 30 minutes of gameplay and about 5 hours of FMV.
So it was a bit like the new Metal Gear then.
Yeah. It's like Metal
Some
Gear
things
Solid
never
4.
change.
Yeah.
No,
You have
it's,
any-
it's just proof that the Japanese are like 15 years behind everyone.
They always have been.
So, Kiken, any opinion on these games so far? Leisure Suit Larry, Hot Coffee, Mass Effect?
No.
I don't think Hot Coffee was a game.
Most of it, I mean, Leisure Suit Larry, I knew from the beginning was basically like a tongue-in-cheek series.
But it was fun though. The original one was.
Right, but it wasn't meant to be like blatantly serious though.
No, by far, yeah.
No, I mean the hot copy thing that just came about as that was really just retarded programming. I mean, yeah, they had shut it off, and the very fact that you had to augment the game in order to get at it, but the very fact that they left it in, they really should have just taken the time to remove that sector of the program to get all together. That was just something stupid.
Well, they never really fully admitted they left it in. Somebody who programmed for it may have just decided to leave it in as his little legacy, or he
Why
got too lazy
program
to
it
pull
in
it
the
out.
first
My
place?
understanding of it was simply just that it was just easier to leave the code in and just basically put in a workaround.
Yeah.
Just put a pointer in instead of deleting all this code and then having to recompile and make sure that everything after it ran. It was just easier to put in again like a workaround for it so that the regular program.
I
would
have an
just skip it.
idea. Don't program it in the first place
They-
because it takes time and effort to
They
program
put
things.
they put 2 forward slashes in front of where it kind of came
Yeah,
in.
there you go.
And then
Yeah.
it recompiled.
Yep.
But they actually did a little bit more than that because all the GTA stuff is scripting based. So they just created a flag value and said if flag value and set it to false.
Yeah.
So that was the extent of their hiding it. And they were still fucked on the ESRB bit because the ESRB rates based on the content that's on the disk whether or not you can access it. So
Really?
that bit still got them
Ah.
screwed, and that's why the whole contract thing, like, they got in trouble there. But my personal bet is that they actually wanted to get that out. They were going to try and get that past the ratings board, and they probably gave it a spin at one point.
Well, yeah, that would be the only reason why you would have at least started it in the first place. It's not that's a little complex to have as an actual Easter egg to be throwing in there. So at some point they figured, well, we'll try and do this, and it's like, oh, we're not going to get that past the ratings board. Delete.
Or they ran it through the ESRB and they said the ESRB said no, and then they were thinking, well, maybe we can do the Kevin Smith thing, where if you submit the same thing again, we'll actually get it through.
or
Or
the
the
South
Team
Park
America
thing where they
plan where
add
they,
some objectionable
yeah.
material and resubmit it.
All right. So, lastly, we're going to talk about Custer's Revenge for some strange, bizarre reason.
Why?
AKA Indian fucker.
Because it seems to be a favorite game of yours because it comes up in like every episode.
Yeah.
It should be
Custer's
on the back. I mean, for real, guys.
Custer's Revenge, aka Pixel Fucker.
I didn't realize.
Well,
that they had-
Brian is the one that brings up that game more than I do. I mean, that
What?
and Boonga Boonga.
No, that's not Custer's Revenge. That's like Finger's Revenge.
Didn't we find out that was actually a spanking game?
It is a spanking game. Yes, I had to actually put it on the website I had to explain it. It's actually a spanking game. The thing that you put something up something else is a completely different game.
I wouldn't play
So
either
which
game.
one is the spanking one? Is that Kimo KYA?
No, it's a Boonga Boonga.
AKA
okay,
smack that ass, yo.
They're arcade games, aren't they? So you would
Yeah.
have to be like doing this in public with other people watching you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
This
just
guy seems to be enjoying putting his fingers in this.
yeah you slide the
plastic
Dave and
rectangle.
Buster's card in the crack of the ass and you can play the game.
Yeah, you got to go downstairs, sir.
That's a different Stepford Wives take, isn't it?
Stepford ass.
So, do we have anything to say on this game? I mean,
Well, I didn't realize that they kept trying to get. They put out more versions of this game. They renamed
Really?
it like Westward Ho.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
God.
And
I couldn't believe that until I read it, and I was like, "What?"
You know,
Westward Ho.
one of my
and
favorite
it wasn't
games.
and it wasn't the only game that they had put out. They had put out, what was it? Bachelor Party and Beat 'em and Eat 'em.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Bachelor Party, that bad Tom Hanks movie.
Beat 'em and Eat 'em's been on a few bad lists.
God. Oh my god. You know, I played Spaceward Ho, and now I don't. Oh my god. And it's
Oh,
totally
that's-
different.
That's
Totally
the
different
alien
game.
chick from Mass Effect.
That
you know?
must be it. Yeah, you bang the blue chick, Spaceward Ho.
The sad thing is that Spaceward Ho is actually quite a good old strategy
It
game.
is. It's an
That's the-
awesome strategy game.
it's
but
where
it's
you-
Spaceward Ho.
That's where you bang the blue chick from the Fifth Element.
Oh yeah.
Well, you try and get her to get that higher note.
I think I'd like Mila better though.
Mm.
If I had to pick, you know. If I
Monkey
can't have
pass.
both. If I can't have both, then
That's because she was willing to die without love.
oh, was that what that fucking movie was about?
I think so. I don't know.
Well,
Well, that was like in Resident Evil too.
oh, well, thanks for that.
Oh, I knew
Yeah,
that you wanted
spoiler.
to- I knew
That's
that, yeah, spoiler. Here's a big spoiler for you. You're the seventh guest. How's that?
as Steve rages over in the corner.
He is. He's putting up his little fists now. Oh, damn you! Damn you!
But only on the 11th hour.
I hope we didn't spoil seventh guest for you, Kiken.
I already played through that noise.
Alrighty.
I think that's it. Unless, is there any other smut stuff that we want to talk about?
Oh, yeah. I
BMX
sent
at
a
Triple X.
I
No.
sent a link about it, but I couldn't review it or check it out. But L4D Mods put out that mod where you could play as the girl naked
What?
throughout the entire
shocking
game.
news! Nude patch for
Yeah.
a popular game.
That
Left
is
4 Dead.
That's the only part that I really hate about having to go console rather than on the PC or Mac.
Not
You
getting
can't get your nude patches.
Exactly.
Yep, limited a
Left
little.
4 Dead was a lousy game anyway.
Once again, go to Google, type blowjob, better result.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I play my Duke Nukem 3D, take the tassels off, whatever, and you can get.
Wait, that's on a Mac?
Yes, it is.
They have games on the Mac.
They have a few.
Here we go again.
So is there-
for any of the listeners, rewind to previous.
So there's a nude patch for the Journeyman project?
I don't know what would be good about a nude patch for Marathon.
Oh god! I can't believe they just brought Marathon back out again. What was it on the 360?
Oh, I hear the
if
nude
you-
patch for Deus Ex is really awesome.
If you get a
I've
nude,
seen it.
You can get a nude patch for Dune 2. It makes the sandworms all naked.
That's not a sand.
They wiggle
worm.
more.
That's not a sandworm, buddy. That was actually a pretty sweet.
You
game,
okay
too.
there, John?
That you guys.
Does it hurt, John?
It is. It's kind of getting a little.
Welcome to
painful.
worm touching.
That
that's not a word.
See, Kiken's been silent through this whole thing for a good reason.
Yeah, it's like.
Well, he admitted he couldn't hear half of it too, and it's
It's
probably better off that way. So.
Yeah, it's a fucking train wreck anyway. I mean, why would you?
Anyway.
All right. So I guess that's it for the podcast. Listeners note, the next show will be show 70.
Okay.
What? We're having another show after this? I thought for sure this was going to end the entire run.
69.
There's a run?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, shut up,
I mean,
Beavis.
where do you go from here, though? I mean, that's the question, really.
We
If
can
you're
dig
It's all
lower.
at the bottom of the barrel.
It's all uphill from here.
Well, no,
Oh,
actually,
we should
yeah, we
share
can
the
get
news
far
about our
lower than this.
Maxim friends.
Oh, that's our little bit of parting news.
Maxim friends?
Our older, or not our older, but our larger, more well-funded, stupider brother, Maxim One Up Podcast Radio, has gone off the air. And
Well,
so
so
we've
we lasted-
outlasted the Maxim Video Game Podcast.
Well, they were tards anyway. Oh, is that lie? Is that slander? If I call them tards?
I don't think they exist anymore, so I don't think it matters.
Huh.
Well,
okay.
no, but everybody's jumping on everybody's ass about, oh, you can't call somebody retarded anymore.
I
Yeah, you
call
got to
'em-
stick with Mongoloid these days.
I call them
I
retreaded.
prefer Mongoloid or pan face.
Call them retreaded.
Yeah, just like he's had a Mongoloid child, and you just kind of look down at your feet.
Oh,
You have
great.
to say it kind of quiet because people will hear you and think you want a Mongoloid child.
you're going to
I see. Well,
I'm not going to hell for that.
All right. Well,
do the honors there, Murdock.
I'm going to hell for
actually,
many
Kiken
other
did the
reasons.
opening. Kiken, do you want to do the honors of the closing?
No.
No.
Oh,
Guess not.
okay. All right. Well, thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio.
69.
Thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.